Before I get started, please do comment down below whether or not you prefer these sort of vlog style recipe videos, or if you prefer, you know, just straight up instructions written, you know, captions or something like that within the frame. So let me know if you prefer these chatty ones or just a straight up recipe. Okay, so what you'll need is 12 egg yolks, 1 can, this is 14 ounces of, 12 ounces of evaporated milk. You'll also need 14 ounces of condensed milk. You will need a teaspoon of vanilla. This is 1 cup of sugar with a 1/4 cup of water, and that is all you need. So there are 2 components. You'll first cook up the caramel. So with the sugar and water, you're going to bring that to a boil. You're going to let the sugar dissolve until it turns to a golden brown, and then you're going to set that aside. Well, you're going to pour them into these tins here. So you can use anything you want. This is sort of like what we traditionally use in Filipino cooking. They're really cool, actually. Some of them have, you know, they're repurposed, recycled. But you're going to need, I have 4, and this recipe makes 4 nice ones. This is approximately, I would say 5 inches long. Okay, and then you'll also need a container, another pan to put them in, because they're going to sit in a water bath. First step is I'm going to go ahead and dissolve this and turn this into a caramel, and then I'll do step 2 in just a second. On medium-high heat, I'm just dissolving this sugar. You can see it's mixed with just a little bit of water, 1/4 cup of water to a cup of sugar. So I'll let that go, and I'm gonna stir it every now and then because I don't want the sugar to burn, and that happens so quickly. A couple more stirs just to make sure it's fully dissolved, and then I'm gonna let that sit and come to a boil. Okay, and once it does come to a boil, I find that it's important not to stir it. Just kind of let it become golden brown on its own, but just watch it super carefully so that it doesn't go past that golden brown. So you can see it's starting to boil up now, and it's slowly turning that golden color I'm looking for. In the meantime, I want to make sure that my tins are ready to go. I put it in this round one because they don't move around. If you're using like a 9x13 pan or something like that, and the tins move, you can always put a towel down so that they don't slide around too much as you transport it into the oven. So that is ready to go. It's close by, so that once this is the right color, I'm going to take it and pour them individually and equally between the 4 tins I have here. Okay, you can see how that's brown. Okay, we're ready to go. Turn off the heat. I'm going to take it over here, and I'm just going to pour them evenly. Okay, and now this part is important to work while it's still hot, okay? I have some tongs here, and you're basically going to swirl it around, and ideally you'll get it on the sides as well. But if it starts to cool, just make sure you get it at least on the bottom. And I'm using the tongs because it is a metal tin, and I don't want to burn myself in case it gets too hot. Okay. Alright, next step, part 2, onto the custard. Next step is to take your 12 eggs, and then you're going to add your evaporated milk, 1 can, 12 ounces, and 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Do your best to try to not lick it because this stuff is so good. Okay. Get all of that in there. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Just eyeballed it. Now you're going to stir this together. Okay, so that is all nice and mixed up. Now, next step to get all those clumps out is to strain it. So I have a strainer over another one of these that has a little, I guess you could call that like a spout, because it's going to make it much easier to pour it into the tins. Let's see if it's the bits of egg in there. Okay, so now that's all strained through. And that's ready to go. So I'm still waiting for these to cool. They're still very warm. And I don't want the egg to sort of curdle once it hits the hot caramel. Okay, I just took them out of the oven. It was 40 minutes, and I'm going to open them up and see if they are firmed up yet, and then stick it back in the oven for a little bit longer if it's not. So I'm going to put you down so I can do this safely so I don't get burned by the steam. So there's one right there, and it's nice and firm. Okay, it's not jiggly, if you can tell. But yeah, so that's done. I'm going to open up the other ones, and I'm going to let them cool, because they'll need to cool completely, and then before I put it in the fridge. Ideally, you're supposed to refrigerate it for 6 hours to overnight, but yeah, our party is probably about 3 hours after it's nice and cool, so I hope that'll be okay, and I'll stick it in the fridge until we're ready for dessert. But that is our flan. So, you're just going to take your flan and run a knife along the sides to loosen it. Carefully so you don't cut yourself. And then just wiggle it out. Wiggle it just a little bit. Are you too young to know that?
Just
Katie?
yes, of course you know. You don't know